Welcome back everyone. In today's video we're going to be doing a day in the fish room, so all the maintenance that I usually do and more. It's going to be a really awesome video. Stick around. I think the first thing that we're going to be doing in this video is sucking out all of this stuff off the bottom of the aquariums. Now these fish tanks are clean, they've got a big sump and everything like that, but it just doesn't seem to pick up all of this muck and dead leaves and poo and stuff off the bottom. So we're going to be going around and siphoning all of that out in a lot of these aquariums. Okay, so we've now sucked out all of the poo and crap and whatever was on the bottom of this aquarium into this bucket. I sucked up heaps of snails, which is really good. And now we have to empty this bucket. 20 kilos right here. So now we're gonna start on our next aquarium, and that is the platy aquarium up here. Heaps to suck out of this aquarium, so this could take some time. And we might also need a longer hose, because I don't know if this hose is gonna reach all the way down into there. Okay, so we just disconnected the sump pump, and that's what that noise is in the background. Everything's sort of just draining back to where it should be. And it's time to do some more vacuuming on these two tanks here, but first we're gonna empty this bucket again. Ugh. We can now go on to vacuuming this 6-foot tank here. Okay, so this 6-foot tank has now been completely vacuumed, and I think I nearly overflowed my bucket. Slowly getting there. It's now come time to do a little bit of vacuuming on this bottom tank down here. Not too much down here, but it definitely will make it look better. So we've got two tanks behind me. They're the only tanks on that rack that are actually filled with water. But the only problem is there's hundreds of bristlenoses all crawling around in all that weird poo stuff. So it's gonna be very unlikely that I'll be able to suck out the poo and not the bristlenoses. So we're gonna completely ditch the idea of doing the vacuuming and just do a big water change. Okay, so we've now done the big water change on this end tank. It's time to do the water change on this tank. The only problem is the hose isn't long enough. So actually I do the water change from outside. Pretty interesting. Nearly all of the water changes in the fish room have been done now. It's now come time for the last aquarium to get its water changed on. Now you might be wondering how I'm going to be draining this fish tank. It's obviously very far away from the door, very far away from the door over there, and the windows have a screwed in screen, so it's nearly impossible. So what I've done is behind here somewhere, if you can see that, there is a pipe drilled in the wall, and I'm going to be doing my water change through that. That goes out into the garden and then underneath the house over into that drain. Probably the hardest water change to do in the whole fish room, but it is possible. Usually I'll get this in one corner, get rid of that mystery snail, down to the level I want to drain it out, and then here comes the hard bit. I've got to get up on the bench and be quick. Suck, start the siphon. and chuck that back in the pipe. Now we're just gonna let this fish tank drain down to the level of that siphon. Hope that none of the baby swordtails get sucked down into it, and we'll start filling up this rack over here. Okay, so the funny thing is, the hose that I use to fill up the fish room is in the bird aviary. So, oops. If you didn't know, I do have birds. I have 5 cockatiels, and they all live in this beautiful aviary. And now I've got to run it through my bedroom. Through the bedroom, up over the paludarium, and then eventually over into the fish room. So when we get into the fish room, usually grab a clamp and the end of the hose, and then start filling up some of these tanks. We're just gonna wait till this tank fills up and that tank drains, and I'll get back to you when that's done. All right, everyone, so we've now completed all the water changes in the fish room. Everything's full of water again, topped right back up, and there's not a whole lot more that we need to do in the fish room. The only thing left is to do some feeding. So we actually have, before we even started the water changes, done our brine shrimp for the day, and it's also been reset. So we don't need to do anything with the brine shrimp. We're just going to go through and feed the things we didn't get a chance to feed this morning. So we've got some algae wafers here, quite a few of these, and we're gonna run some up into the bristlenose baby tanks, put a few in there for them, and they can go to town on that. And we'll grab some for the other one as well. Put some up in this bristlenose baby tank. It'll just give them something to feed on in the daytime. Also like to feed these guys zucchini, occasionally maybe a bit of piece pumpkin or something like that. And honestly, just any type of food, different pellet foods here and there. That just helps out, you know, giving them a variety of food. So I'll grab a pinch of these, not sure what this pellet is. I think it's like extreme food, something like that. That's for some of the smaller babies. We'll grab some of these pellets here and we'll feed the 6-foot tank a few pellets as well. So I'll just grind up a couple in this corner here. That'll be good for the babies to go and munch on. There's a lot of food there. The snails will clean up the rest. And of course, we've got other fish around the room as well that need a feed. So like these platies, give them a few little pellets on the surface. I'll go eat them. And if you guys remember, there's a couple of black swordtails down in here, and I'll give them just a few pellets as well, not too many. The rest I can just chuck in here because there's a few baby bristlenoses that will happily feed on that. One other thing that we did do off camera is this sump down here doesn't have any filter media in it at all, and we managed to shut off the return pump and jam a couple of really long, nice pieces of sponge, top and bottom, and that should add in the first part of our filtration. I'm going to probably add a lot of big or like medium sized ones about this size, like this, broken up pieces of rock in the bottom of this. And what's going to happen is this bay here, its main purpose is to catch any fish that for some reason would get sucked in from any of these aquariums, and it means that if they get sucked down into here, they're going to be fine. They won't get sucked all through here and into all the floating bio balls that I'm going to have in these two sections, and maybe some ceramic ones on the bottom there, floating bio balls on the top, and they won't get churned up in the pump or anything. So if any fish do end up down in here, they're going to be stopped by the rocks on the bottom and also by the sponges here. So this is just like a catching compartment. Of course it'll catch all this tiny stuff as well. It's got some lot of aeration, then it'll come up through the sponge, floating bio balls, ceramic media, maybe a bit of sponge again, and then back into the return pump, back into all of these aquariums. Anyway guys, I really hoped you enjoyed this video. I thought it would be really cool to show you exactly what I do on a weekend day, so Sunday or whatever. I'll be in here doing water changes every week. I'll give them a feed first with the brine shrimp, do all the water changes, any maintenance I need to do. Didn't really need to do too much today. Everything was kind of under control. I could trim some plants, I could vacuum and mop the floors, things like that. But yeah, hope you guys really enjoyed that. Maybe it helped you guys out with any questions you had, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.